Hello and welcome to the Steel Sports Podcast, the new and improved Steel Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Klinkenbeard, and pleased to be joined by co-host Martin Brown. Yeah, excited to welcome all of our listeners, our viewers now, as we dive into conversations around sports from all the way to the pros, to the youth levels, and obviously many parallels between the two. But we hope this podcast is a chance for really everyone to really keep that burning desire for sports and love for sports, and maybe even for some to want to get involved in youth sports, because we know we need plenty of participants and families and coaches and even officials. So hope you enjoy this podcast with us as we take this journey. But a little bit about me, Nathan Klinkenbeard. I'm the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communications at Steel Sports, and been with Steel Sports for 9 years. Can't believe it's been 9 years just this August. And
that's a lifetime these days.
It doesn't seem like it, though. It seems like it was just yesterday when I was a young man with more hair and no children. But here we are, and 9 years later, no, still just love what I'm doing for this company, and just really trying to make a difference in kids' lives and really build our future generations. And live in Indianapolis, have two kids, wife and two kids here, and 10 and 7 years old, and both just ingrained in sports. My daughter's doing just about everything you can imagine: swimming, softball, running. My son too, getting involved in everything. But yeah, I dabbled a little bit in coaching. I coached in swimming when I was younger, and got back into coaching with my son in baseball this past season. So I think, yeah, Coach Klinkenbeard. Yeah, a little tough to put on the back of a jersey, but it's fun. So yeah, so now this new and improved Steel Sports Podcast, where I kind of started the podcast just hosting guests and having conversations, and we've kind of evolved it to have almost like a studio show and talk about topics of just around sports. And we'll definitely bring some special guests in from time to time. But my co-host Martin Brown, the president and CEO of Steel Sports, welcome.
Well, thanks, Nathan. It's great to be on the new version of the Steel Sports show, the Steel Sports Podcast. I felt you have done a fantastic job interviewing special guests on the podcast, but you seemed a little lonely, so I figured I would give you some company. For our listeners out there, welcome. Excited to spend some time with you. I've been with Steel for over 6 years now. I've been involved in youth sports for almost 25 years in the US. I'm based here in the Steel Sports head office in New Jersey, and just love sports, love youth sports. I've got 4 kids myself, 3 particularly younger ones that are all getting into sports, and there is really nothing better from a parent's perspective, I think, of watching your kid play a sports game, whatever sport it is, and the passion they have for it. So excited to hopefully get some of that passion across, talk about sports, talk about youth sports with you, and I know we'll have some guests, some good guests on in the future from around Steel Sports and around the world of sports. So excited to get things going. But this is kind of our starting point. We're here. It's August 28th, 2024. And we're coming to the end of the summer, Labor Day weekend this weekend. So how's your summer been?
It was great. I feel I have a love-hate relationship with summer. I love it. I love the warmer weather and getting out and playing. But the part I don't like, I feel like I blink and it's over. It's done. Yeah. And my kids go to school early. They're back to school like the last week of July, and it's just like, holy cow, how did this happen? So much is going on, and you wish it could last forever. But yeah. So much going on, especially in our world, but our personal lives as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely been a quick summer. I think this year I've spent a lot of it on the road doing town halls for Steel Partners, a company that we are in the subsidiary of, and a lot of time actually with hopefully one of our future guests, Robbie Earl, which has been fun, but it's really made the summer just fly by. I've been on the road a lot from May and heading out there this weekend as well to finish those off. So it's been a really quick summer, and I do love the warmer weather. I get to the end of the summer, I'm like, all right, I'm ready for the fall weather, and then I tell you, as soon as winter comes, I'm like, where is the sun? Like, I really want that warmer weather, but it's been a good summer. It's been a summer of sport, particularly here in the US. And what's been your take on the summer?
Oh my gosh! I mean, the NBA wrapped up. Obviously, Major League Baseball in full swing. Soccer. Soccer. You talk about, and Martin's our soccer guy. He's our soccer expert. So she's really
loosely
you're much further along than I am. But Euros, Copa America, the Olympics, obviously with soccer. So it was big tournament after big tournament on the soccer stage. And the stars were out in full force. So it was a lot of fun to watch.
It was a good, and you mentioned the Olympics there. I think it's a great place for us to start a conversation. And the U.S. women's national team, gold medalist again, fantastic tournament. I thought they played really well. I think Emma Hayes coming in, you definitely saw a different of attitude and atmosphere around the team. Even players talking about how she's made it fun. Come back, 10 games in, gold medal. And I think a lot of people were doubting that. And, we've had conversations about, are the U.S. women's team back? Yeah. And yes or no. I have a yes or no answer to that one. I think, yes, they're back to the best, alongside the best in the world right now. Whether they'll be back to the levels of the former great teams, the 99ers and, Julie's teams and Carly's teams. I think other teams have caught up, other countries have caught up, so I don't think you'll see that gap again, between where the US were and where everybody else was. That gap was huge. I mean, they were just by far so much better than everybody else. The rest of the world's caught up a little bit. Spain, Germany, bronze medalists. Brazil, silver medalist. England, lost to Spain in the World Cup final. So a lot of really good teams, but I think the US now under Emma Hayes' direction is really going to participate and compete at that level, and it's going to make for a real interesting World Cup in a few years' time.
Yeah, it's no longer a walkover at all these big tournaments. And you saw a little bit of a transformation with the roster. You had this infusion of youth, and some of the stalwarts that have been on the rosters in years past were not selected, and they're not there anymore. So it's up to a new generation, but in an exciting time. I mean, you're talking about they were down to 5th in the world rankings, which is mind-boggling.
Unheard of for this team.
Yeah, but now you're talking. They've had their youngest roster since 2008. And you have players like Trinity Rodman and Sophia Smith come in, and just electric players. And I think it's good to infuse the new group, the youthful players, and get that new generation of stars that are gonna take them to new heights.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for the young girls out there playing soccer out on the fields of the communities around the country. They can really relate to this team. I think they can really look up to this team. As you said, the youngest team. They can see that some of those, these players that are playing in high school now, they could be on that team in a few years' time. As we get to the World Cup, get to the Olympics, the way that Emma Hayes is laying out this team. So yeah, I think great role models for the youth girls playing soccer in this country, and I'm excited to see what this team will do over the course of the next few years in preparation for the World Cup, and then for LA in 2028. So that will be coming as well. But it really capped off a really great end to, as you said, a good period of soccer over the course of the summer. Started with the Euros. Obviously, as people can tell, I'm originally from England, so big England fan
Couldn't tell at all.
Yeah, I know, right? It's my
British accent didn't come through.
Heavy New Jersey accent that I have these days. But devastated with another loss in another final. One of these days, I hope to see the England men's national team winning a major trophy. I'm a little bit too young to remember 1966, which was the last time. Obviously, great. Saw the England women's national team win the Euros a few years ago and losing the final of the World Cup as well. But what a great tournament! I thought the Euros was really well hosted by Germany. Spain, well, yes, we lost England in the final, but Spain were a worthy opponent to lose to. They won every game of the tournament. They were, I think, by far the best team in the tournament. But what was, I think, apparent to me in that tournament was the emergence of young players. The Bellinghams of the world. Like Lamal from Spain, Phil Foden's of the world, a lot of really good young players. And again, real good opportunity for the young kids playing out there to see those teams and see that they're not that far away from them in terms of age. So really good tournament though. Did you catch a lot of it, and what were your highlights?
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, the young stars. I just love watching the European style of soccer, and especially the European tournaments, and the bigger world tournaments, right? So it's a lot more exciting. The energy in the stadiums are electric, especially being in Germany. I mean, I think Germany was an incredible host. I mean, every venue was packed. But yeah, I mean, the quality of play was always outstanding, and it's just a lot of fun to watch.
It was. You talk about style of play, which was interesting because you could definitely. I watched both the Euros and the Copa, and the style of play just really was very different, and that was really something that stood out to me. I mean, I've watched both the tournaments before, and you think about the South American teams in particular, the Brazils, the Argentinas, and the way they play, and obviously a lot of those stars are playing in Europe in a domestic competition, and but that difference in style was definitely at the forefront of mind. A lot more possession-based pressing in the Euros. A little bit more long ball, a lot more physical, a lot more physicality in the Copas. But Copas itself was a great tournament. Argentina obviously dominant again. Disappointment, I think, for the US men's national team in what they can do, and I know we'll talk about the men's national team in a little bit. But it definitely had its controversies. I think the Copas, from refereeing, which I thought over the whole was quite poor. I thought the organization and those issues that you saw in both the semi-final and then obviously the final, from an organization standpoint, definitely laid out question marks for US soccer, for CONCACAF and FIFA with the World Cup coming. Seeing those players in the stands. Darwin Núñez, one of them. People will find out I'm a massive Liverpool fan and love Darwin Núñez, but couldn't certainly at no point should a player, regardless of families and things like that, be in the stands with fighting the fans. But again, it was a lack of organization. Those families shouldn't have been where they were. They should have been protected more. So it was definitely eye-opening from a tournament. A lot of controversy, and I think a lot of lessons that can be learned by CONCACAF and US soccer in preparation for the World Cup in 2026. But yeah, as I said, definite disappointment, I think, in the US men's national team, led to Berhalter being relieved of his duties. I was certainly one that thought he shouldn't have been hired back anyway. Post the World Cup in the last event. Didn't really get a sense from him that he had a style of play, that the players had bought into a style of play, and I really thought they were quite flat. And I think that showed in terms of the results when you start playing higher level competition. But to be honest, the competition level was teams that I think the US team would be expecting to beat at this point, and I think it was a very disappointing tournament, and obviously has led to a change of coach. what do you think of the rumor mill of Mauricio Pochettino coming in as the U.S. men's national coach?
Yeah, it seemed like they hardly ever played inspired soccer with Berhalter at the helm. But yeah, I mean, the ink's not down on paper yet. But I know the rumors there that Pochettino is going to be the next head coach, the next manager of the U.S. men's national team. And when I first saw the notification that popped up on my phone, it was almost like a double take. Like, hey, is this serious? The journalist in me, I'm scrolling trying to find a second source, and okay, is this real? Is this fake? I mean, I think it'd be a huge coup for U.S. men's soccer to bring him on board. And I had this conversation with friends just talking about the Copa America disaster, and we were all saying, we would trade, that poor performance if it meant that, we're going to get a guy at the level of Pochettino to join and take us hopefully to, the next level and, really try to make us competitive on the world stage. And I don't think there's any question that this U.S. men's national team has just a ton of talent. We just haven't seen the results. And I think now it's time to, okay, who can be that person in charge that's really going to get inspired soccer, put their plan in place, their style of play, and have players believe that they can compete. I think that's part of it too. Just knowing and believing in yourself that you can go up against the Spains and the Brazils and the Englands of the world and be competitive and beat them as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited that he's hopefully going to be the man confirmed, although not yet.
I'm cautiously optimistic, I think, is my frame of mind, and I say that because U.S. soccer doesn't have a great track record of allowing the head coaches to really stamp their authority and personality on a team. So that's going to be interesting to see how much authority he has in charge of the group. Can he decide, is he fully in charge of which players are playing, what formation are they playing, what style of play are they playing, management of those players? So I think, if US soccer gets out of the way, I think it could be a positive. I would also be a little concerned that, he had success as a club coach, whilst not really winning the level probably he should have done. It certainly should have won a Champions League with PSG with the players that he certainly had up front anyway, with Mbappe and Messi as part of that three. But I think, international management's different. You're not working with players day in and day out. You're not stamping your ideas of how you want teams to play, what you want players to do with the ball, without the ball. So it really comes down to, is he going to get the authority to put his stamp on it, and is he going to be in a position that he can do that in a short period of time with training camps and as such. And we'll see. I certainly hope so, because I think the US has got so much potential. World Cup here in 2026, it would do wonders, I think, for the sport in the country if the US had a great run, and the whole nation would get behind them. This is a country that loves winners, and if they can go out and outperform and hopefully, if it is Pochettino and he does get that opportunity to do that and he does succeed, hopefully he can lay a long process in place and a long development plan in place, for the national team. Because if he's here just to do one World Cup and done, then again, we'll be looking here in 2 years' time, be like, okay, what's next? And it's just short-term fix after short-term fix. So if they do get him, great, and he's successful, great. But I do certainly hope that he can stamp a long-term development plan on the national team, and that will hopefully those players, those kids that are out there playing now, can look up to that plan and see that pathway through to come and play in with the national team over the next couple of decades, and really go and win a major tournament for the US men's national team. We certainly have the talent, potential here, and I think with the right direction and the right person at the helm, the right personality. That's the other thing. I think it's important for that personality. I think that can certainly be done. So it will definitely be an interesting time, and it'll be hopefully a positive time for the US men's national team, because it's been a little wayward for the last 12 months or so. But again, great summer. You mentioned baseball as we kicked it off. Give us your take. We had the All-Star break. We've had Little League World Series. So let's start with the pros. What are your thoughts on the summer of Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about young stars in soccer, and I think the same can be said for baseball. I think the breakout of some of the younger stars in the game has been awesome to see, and there are a few of them, and you have two kind of guys that have leading, I think, the way for MVP. You have Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani. Not certainly younger, but guys are just doing incredible things. Judge over 50 home runs now, could become over 60, trying to break that American League home run record again. And then Ohtani, who's over 40 home runs, stolen bases, his blend of speed and power. But when you're talking about the young guys, I grew up in Cincinnati. I'm a Reds fan. You might see some Reds stuff in the background here, or maybe Cincinnati Bengals from time to time. But a guy like Ellie De La Cruz, who just, when you talk about the blend of power and speed, and what he does from a guy who's 6'5", 6'6", a tall shortstop, you don't really see that a whole lot. And he has a cannon for an arm. He can fly around the bases, but he can also hit 450-foot home runs. So he's been incredible to watch. On the pitcher's mound, Paul Skeens, I mean, he's come in and has just been dominant. Almost 2.0 ERA. Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, he's just an incredible hitter. Seems like every day he's collecting a couple hits. I think it's an exciting time for baseball too, when it comes to young stars, and some of those guys just really taking off and making a name for themselves.
Yeah, and how do you think? I think we're now in the second season of the new rules and the time limits and the new adoptions that Major League Baseball have implemented. How do you now? What's your assessment? Kind of, second year in, what are you seeing? I certainly think I love baseball. I'm certainly more of a casual watcher. I love the sport. I definitely from my perspective, I've seen huge improvements. Shorter games has been a good thing, I think, for the game. I know that there's a lot of old souls out there, traditionalists, I think they're called, that love the way baseball was. But in this fast-paced young generation of fans, I think it's important to keep the game moving. And I certainly think it's been beneficial. But I'd be interested to see what your take has been.
Yeah, I mean, I'd consider myself a traditionalist in a sense. I love the way the game was played, and if I had my way, I would love to keep it the same. But at the same time, I think the changes have been great for baseball. I think they've started to really solve what they've needed to solve. I think baseball was in one of its existential crisis where they were just losing fans. They're losing the younger generation of fans, and that's no way to grow your game. And I think we see kids are playing baseball all over the country, but I think when it comes to Major League,
an increase participation is increasing at that baseball level, at that young level. My son is going to start T-ball next spring. It's they're definitely excited to play, and it's whether you can keep them in the sport.
Yeah, I mean, the game's moving definitely quicker, and you're seeing game times going down, and you see attendance going up, and it's going up quite a lot. And I think people are more engaged with the games. It moves quicker. There's much more flow to the game. You're seeing a lot more stolen bases. You're seeing a lot more flow around the bases too. So it's not just power, strikeouts, home runs. You're seeing doubles. You're seeing players getting moved over. You're seeing guys go from first to third. Speed's starting to filter its way back into the game, which is exciting to see. I mean, I love home runs just as much as everybody does, but I also love the little nuances of the game, and it's been fun to watch these last couple of years, and I think the playoffs are going to be pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, you had 2 wild card winners for World Series last year. I think this looks like similar. I don't know if we'll have another 100-win team this year, which will be the first time, I think, from 2014. So it'll definitely be an interesting time over the fall. It's obviously usually the most exciting part of the season for baseball, and really fans start to get super engaged. So, and I agree. I think the differences in the rules have made a big difference, I think, and they're starting to see that positive effect. And I know that Major League Baseball will be tracking that data. It'd be interesting for them to release that and share a report with the wider baseball community of how that has improved. But one thing I did want to talk to you about, I wanted to ask you was, just coming off the big summer of soccer, we've went into the Olympics. And baseball, obviously exciting that it'll be back in the Olympics in 2028 in LA. So a great opportunity for those young players that are out there playing now. 4 years from now, could find themselves involved in the Team USA potentially. But one thing I did notice is the amount of stars around these other sports that you see them all over the place. You have commercials on billboards, etc. And I don't know, I just don't see that with the baseball stars of today. Do you think that baseball and the baseball clubs have a kind of I'm not going to call it an image issue, but do you think they have an issue in terms of highlighting and marketing their stars? Because other sports seem to be absolutely killing that. You see NFL players everywhere. You even see, Premier League players and, MLS players and basketball player, NBA particularly, are everywhere. You just don't see that with baseball. And do you think they have an issue in terms of marketing those players?
I do. I think baseball's still stuck on marketing the teams, which if you look now, you look at the other professional sports, you look at NBA, they're picking their primetime games usually based off the star players, right? So, they want Curry on TV. They want LeBron on TV. San Antonio Spurs are good. They're not a very good team, but they have Wembanyama, who's one of the elite young guys. He's going to be on TV. They're pushing him out there. So even football, Mahomes, Josh Allen, the quarterbacks, right? Joe Burrow. Of course, I'm going to throw him in as a Bengals fan. But it's gotten to a point where
don't forget Kelsey. Don't forget Kelsey, but that might be more of a Taylor Swift issue than a Kelsey football issue. But there you go.
Well, of course. I mean, you can't forget Travis Kelsey. But MLB needs to get its players out there front and center. It needs to. We need to stop with the Yankees, Red Sox, Cubs, Cardinals. These okay, great. We know those teams have rivalries, but for the Red Sox, okay, well, who's their big star? I mean, Yankees. They obviously have Aaron Judge. I mean, that's the guy who needs to be out there front and center. But I think they need to do a better job of just really, how do we get our top players, our stars on TV and get them out there on social media in front of our audience. Baseball can be tricky because you also think about in basketball, they have the ball so much, right? LeBron has the ball constantly, shooting, passing, rebounding, everything that he's doing on the court, he constantly has the ball, right? Same with the NFL. Usually, quarterbacks have the ball every time they're on offense, right? Whereas with baseball, you're one guy in a 9-person lineup.
Yeah, it's definitely
getting 4 or 5 at that. Yeah, that's going to be tricky. They can definitely though do a better job, and hopefully they're going to really start getting those guys out there. I'm starting to see some different tactics from Major League Baseball, and then the stars themselves.
Yeah, I wonder if with obviously the NIL changing, those rules changing, I wonder, and younger sports athletes in all sports are promoting themselves through high school and college, and I wonder if you'll start, if that will play a part in, that they're promoting themselves, with the name, image, and likeness. So I wonder if that will translate over time into baseball. Obviously it's already happening in the other sports, but that's certainly done. But it's trickier. Baseball is more of it's an individual team sport, right? It is a 1v1 battle, but it's not, you can't even look at that picture every single time because they're playing once every 4 or 5 games or whatever happens to be. So it's going to be it's really interesting to see how they handle that. And I said that with the NIL as well, making a difference on that in the future. But we also had, over the summer, we also had the Little League World Series, a fantastic event. I look forward to it every single year. We had the Lake Mary winning the Little League from California, beating the Chinese Taipei in the final. Great ending to the game. What was your take on the tournament?
Yeah, Little League World Series is just it's one of those events that kind of captures America's heart for the 2 weeks that it's on, and it's always fun to watch, and no matter what age you are, you feel like a kid again when you're watching it, and it was a great championship game once again, and to see it end on such a crazy play, right? With a
crazy play.
And then the guy throws it away, unfortunately, and I thought what was just real special, and I think this is what Little League baseball is all about, is just the sportsmanship, and something that we really drive home with our families, our athletes, our coaches. You had the coach come over to one of the Chinese Taipei players and console him, while everyone's cheering and going crazy, and just to take that time to give that kid a hug and tell him it's going to be okay, and how great of a game they played. That to me is what Little League baseball is all about, and really youth sports in general. It's we talk about we are fiercely competitive, right? But we're never going to compromise our core values in pursuit of a win. And I mean that's what youth sports is all about. It's you're supposed to go out there and have fun and learn life lessons and gain some skills. But at the end of the day, you're out there to have fun, and you're out there to enjoy doing something fun with your friends or with other people your age. And so I love that event. It's always fun.
It's a great event. You see those players that win, lose out in the early rounds. They're having fun. They're enjoying the time. They obviously, it's hard to get to Williamsport anyway, and they really do have a fantastic time. It's a great festival of baseball, and I think it's there's been a lot of talk about the participation rates of Little League across the country. A lot more travel ball, but I think Little League is here to stay. I think that that epitome of that tournament, as you mentioned, is fun and passion, and I think that doesn't go away. So excited to see it come around next year. It's something I look forward to on the calendar every year. So
I've been lucky enough to be at the World Series twice, and I'll give you a little bit of a story. You'll probably, when you watch Lamade Stadium, you see that big hill in the background, right? And usually when you're watching a game, you'll see kids like sliding down the hill constantly. If you ever watch next year, take note. But these kids will get these cardboard boxes, and they'll go face forward. They'll go on their butt and slide down. And sometimes when it rains, it gets really, really muddy. But this was maybe 18 years ago. I had the chance to slide down the hill, and someone had a cardboard box, a kid, and we kind of looked at each other. We're like, "You gonna do this?" I'm like, "Of course I'm gonna do it. You kidding me?" Like, see all these kids do it. So I made it down, and in one piece. Although no injuries. It was as good as advertised, though. It was a lot of fun. So I feel like every time I see that now, I'm like, hey, I did that. I got to slide down that hill.
Yeah, that's certainly brings out the kid in you, that competition. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's we ended the summer with the Olympics. Great Olympics. I thought really great, well organized event. Track and field USA were awesome, dominant again. My favorite event is the relays, the 4x1s, 4x4s. I love those races. I love the team aspect of it. So great to see the US winning gold both in those. And shout out to Team GB for a couple of bronze medals, particularly in the 4x4s for the women's and men's. But what was your take on the Olympics?
I love the Olympics, and it's a chance to watch a bunch of different sports that you might not know much about, that you don't really get to see very often. And I love they had the gold zone. It was almost like the NFL red zone. They were going, sport to sport, and we're giving away medals in equestrian and badminton, and it's so much fun to watch and just see just different events. And yeah, I mean, what was the highlight for you, I guess, in terms of the Olympics?
I thought the 100 meters, men's 100 meters, with it being so close, so a thousandth of a second between, was just it's obviously a big hype event. It's the marquee track event, the 100 meters men's and women's final. So I really enjoyed that. As I said, I'm a big relay fan. I like that. Swimming is a really good one as well. Again, anything that's a race, I love that competitive race between individuals, and swimming also does that as well. And that kind of leads us on to, we've got the Paralympics coming up. One of our own Steel Sports Advisory members, Morgan Stickney, will be racing starting this weekend. So excited to see her. She's defending two-time gold medalist from the Tokyo Olympics, current world record holder that she broke in the US trials. So it's the Paralympics for me are just so much fun to watch these spectacular athletes in a variety of different sports that you're doing. I love watching it, and obviously big supporter of Morgan, and looking forward to seeing her.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch her race. And I mean, you're talking about an inspirational story. I mean, just what she's gone through and continues to go through. It's just unbelievable. And
if people aren't as familiar with Morgan, like, Google Morgan Stickney. She was just featured on the BBC News as an athlete to watch in the Paralympics. Yeah, her story is exactly what you want to see for your kids, in terms of resilience and grit and determination, and sports giving her the opportunity to play out those innate character traits that she has as an individual. She's an outstanding individual, a really great person, and as I said, I wish her all the best for Paris, and hopefully she'll bring us some gold medals, or maybe we can get her on a show in the future, and she can show us those gold medals, which would be
Absolutely
awesome.
We're going to make that happen for sure. I'll give the audience a little update. So yeah, Morgan's going to be doing 3 events. She starts this Saturday, the 31st, with the 200 IM. That's going to be 2 p.m. on CNBC. 400 free, the one she's defending gold medalist, world record holder. Monday the 2nd, Labor Day, 11:40 a.m. on USA, and then again on the USA Network, the 100 free on Wednesday, September 4th at 1:20 p.m. So don't want to miss those races. Definitely tune in if you can, and watch Morgan and support her, because just an incredible woman, incredible athlete, and you're going to be there. How exciting!
I am going to be there on Monday. Yes, so I fly to Paris on Saturday night as part of our town hall series with Steel Partners, and I'm excited to be there. It's the first time I've actually gone to any type of Olympic or Paralympic event, and I'm super excited to watch her, cheer her on, and see her hopefully win, which I'm confident she will. She's just that type of person. So it's gonna be a good trip, and fingers crossed for Morgan. So
we expect a full report in 2 weeks on the next show. So
absolutely.
Be prepared.
I will be ready to give my full assessment in knowing my well-known swimming skills. I'm a very casual swimmer, so. But Nathan, this was awesome to be a part of the new Steel Sports show. We're looking forward to it, and over the course of the next few weeks, we'll be touching on some different topics, getting some guests on, and we hope that people enjoy listening to to two old men that love youth sports and love sports. So pleasure to being with you, and we'll see everybody soon. Thanks for listening.